And welcome back. Tonight we are answering your questions about the stimulus check, maybe tax questions as well. We have a few experts here to get all to that. We have Mark Hensley with AARP of North Carolina, Scott Braddock with Scott Braddock Financial, and Kevin Robinson with Robinson Tax and Accounting Services. You can text your questions to us. The number is 336-379-5775. We already have some great questions coming in, so we will get right to those. First, we'll start off with this. Can you explain the child tax credit? How will you get it if you've already filed your tax return?
Well, the child tax credit on the 2020 return, Maddie, of course, is for a child under age 17 is $2,000. So if they've already filed it, again, the stimulus payment is based on the dependents, and so that would factor in the dependents that are basically they're currently existing now with their parents. So their stimulus payment, basically going to take the last tax return they did, and they've already got that child tax credit on the return, but the stimulus credit would, like we mentioned, that $1,400 would go for the eligible dependents to the person claiming them, i.e. the parent, or if it could be, as Mark mentioned, could be a son or daughter claiming their parent as a dependent. So it goes on that stimulus payment, and then that gets factored. The stimulus payments coming out now get factored on the 2021 return at year end.
So the Biden administration is saying we could see these payments start hitting our bank accounts as soon as this weekend. We've seen with past checks that the direct deposits hit earlier than those paper checks or cards come in the mail. So people are asking, can I put in my direct deposit information on a website or call the IRS to get my money sooner? Mark, is it too late to do that?
So, so if you go to irs.gov and you click on the first box, which is Get Coronavirus Tax Relief, there is a message that says, check back soon for information on the 2021 economic impact payment. They are in the process of updating the tax provision based on the recently passed plan. So this is in play. So keep checking back at irs.gov, but they have not updated the portal yet.
I understand. Someone says, I am paying back taxes. How would that affect this stimulus check?
Well, the good news here is just like the second round of stimulus, if you owe back taxes or you owe child support in arrears, so not that you owe child support, but that you owe back child support, you will be entitled to the stimulus payment as long as you qualify with the other income qualifications. So regardless of owing back taxes or back child support, if you're entitled to that stimulus check based on income, then you will receive that. They will not take that or give that to your debt.
Thanks for answering both of those, Scott, because my next question was about paying back child support. We got that one in as well. A lot of people asking about dependents because it has changed with this round of stimulus money. If I have a college student, will the money deposit in my account or the student's account?
So this stimulus check is actually going to go to the tax filer that claims the dependent. Keep in mind that the tax filer is claiming the dependent as a financial burden to some extent. So they're the ones that are going to be entitled to this stimulus payment for that dependent. And then, of course, it'll be up to the tax filer whether or not they share that stimulus payment with the dependent. Every situation can be unique and different. So that's for the individuals to families to figure out.
Absolutely. We get this question a lot. I've never filed taxes. I haven't received a stimulus of any type in the past. I'm not working. What do I do to get the stimulus money?
Well, go ahead, Kevin.
Well, that's a valid question, Maddie. In fact, I've had a couple of clients that have sort of dropped off the scale, so to speak, or the radar of having to file taxes. All they have is Social Security income or disability. So basically, if they didn't get a stimulus payment, the best thing they can do is file the 2020 return, get their name in the system, and they can claim it on line 30, recovery rebate credit on the 1040 SR or the 1040, whatever the case may be.
And when it comes to paying taxes on the stimulus checks, Kevin, do people pay any type of taxes on these payments?
No, I think as Scott mentioned earlier, we have to keep in mind that this stimulus payment is actually a credit. And basically advance against the credit on the return, so there's no tax owed against it. It won't impact your refund on the federal. It won't make you owe taxes on the state. I guess to keep in mind is your adjusted gross income. The federal adjusted gross income is what drives the state tax return of North Carolina. So therefore, there's no impact federal or state. It is basically the payments in advance against that credit that's coming on the return for 2020. And really probably a year from now, we'll be talking about this as well for the $1,400 and if there's any more that come out during this year.
Someone says, I am filing for the first time this year. I've already filed. Am I going to get a stimulus payment?
Well, again, basically, if they filed and they filed correctly, then there's no reason they shouldn't get a stimulus payment if they qualify. So basically, they probably filed a zero return just to get the stimulus payment, just like we've talked about. So they should get the stimulus payment, in time through, again, line 30 recovery rebate credit on their return.
Someone writes in, I had a child in 2021. Will she be getting a stimulus check?
So this is based on your 2020 income tax return. So having a dependent starting in 2021 is not applicable to this particular stimulus payment. But I want to add to that and say one of the additional changes is if an individual was alive and you received their stimulus payment, they were alive on January the 1st, 2021, you are allowed to keep that stimulus payment. It's only if the person has passed after January the 1st, then you would have to return it. And there'll be instructions available about how to appropriately return a stimulus for a deceased loved one.
All right, Scott, Mark, and Kevin are going to stick around for a couple more minutes, so get your text questions in, 379-5775. We're coming right back.